It's a nice, steady, controlled motion, and you're going to feel tension in the biceps throughout the entire range of motion, if you're doing it right. Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I got 3 bicep exercises that you probably aren't doing. All right, tons of great exercises out there, both at the gym and at home. Man, I've shot a lot of videos on this, and I know Gary Walker has too. But I try to come up with exercises now and then that you probably aren't doing on a regular basis. And if you're having a hard time growing your arms, you need to throw in different types of exercises, because your body actually is really smart. It gets used to doing certain exercises, and you get strong at those exercises, okay? But then you stop getting sore the day after, right? Because your body is just so accustomed to activating the exact same muscle fibers every week, every month. So you need to throw in some variety in there and hit those muscle fibers from different angles, and also use and mentally call upon different muscle fibers, because you're doing a completely different exercise that your body's just not used to. So before I get to those 3 exercises, I do want to talk to you about a completely free resource that we have. And if you all have not already checked out our Facebook group, trust me, you're missing out. All right, I don't care if you don't like Facebook. I don't care if you hate Mark Zuckerberg. I do too. Doesn't matter. Create an account. You don't have to use your real name. You don't have to use any pictures of yourself. Just create an account, click the link below, ask to join our group, and I promise you, you will not regret it. I'm the moderator. I'm on that group or in that group sometimes 7 times a week, almost every day, answering questions, posting content, plus the other 15,000 guys that are exactly like you, your same age, your same problems, your same goals, okay, are on there also, all over the world. And everybody's asking questions, everybody's helping answer and motivate each other, and that's what's really cool about it. It's not just me, okay, it's everybody else. So trust me guys, it's the best fitness group on all of Facebook, and it's free. You don't get a lot of those offers, so check it out. All right, so the first bicep exercise that you're probably not already doing is an incline bicep curl. Now, I have a bench here. Some of you guys don't. I'm going to show you guys who don't have a bench how to replicate this. All right, so stick around. Don't fast forward on me here. All right, so it's real straightforward, guys. You want to set your bench at about a 45-degree angle, maybe even 60 degrees. You can have it maybe a slightly steeper angle than this, but you do want it leaning backwards. All right, and we're just going to do real traditional curls. But the thing that's going on here that makes these different is the starting point. All right, that's a hammer version of it, and this is a twisted curl. The starting point at the bottom has my elbows way behind my back. So see how much stretch I have in my biceps at the very beginning of this movement? Man, oh. So this is calling upon different muscle fibers, and even some of the same muscle fibers, but they're already pre-stretched because we're leaning back and my elbows are starting way behind my back, because typically when we're doing seated curls or even standing, see where my elbows are? They're right at my side. All right, so this is a very common way, all right, and this is the way I do it a lot. But still, you need to throw this in there every once in a while to kind of wake things up, okay? Now, what if you don't have a bench like this? How do you do an incline dumbbell curl? Let me show you. I'm gonna get my cameraman to follow me just a few steps away. I'm gonna come over here, just pick a door jamb, okay? All I'm gonna do is step out. All right, see how I'm leaning back against the door jamb? Now look, see where my elbows are? They're behind my back. So I can do the exact same thing I was doing on the bench just a second ago. And you can do them alternating if you want, alternating hammer curls, or do the more conventional twisted curls. But that's the same position that I was using a second ago on my bench. So no excuses, guys. You can do these even if you don't have all the extra equipment. All right, exercise number 2 that you're probably not already doing is something called a spider curl. So once again, I'm gonna show you how to do it with a bench. And then for those of you guys that don't have all this equipment at home, I'm gonna show you how to do it without a bench. We can replicate this movement real easily, but we're just gonna do one arm at a time. First of all, here we go. Spider curls, typically, because of the way our body is positioned and the way that we're set up when we start the curls, you're not going to have quite as much leverage or strength over the weight, so you're going to have to probably use lighter weights. So even these big guys that are real serious bodybuilders, they typically don't use very much weight when they're doing spider curls. So just keep that in mind when you're selecting your weights. You're probably going to have to go pretty light. All right, so this is it, man. I just kind of lean forward. You put your chest, okay, on the bench, and I'm just letting the dumbbells hang straight down, all right, below my shoulders. I'm in a pretty comfortable position here. Now we can do them simultaneously, okay, with our palms in a neutral position, or we can do them hammer curl style, or we can do them alternating with a twist. I really like doing alternating twists because I can really focus on one muscle at a time. The only drawback is it takes twice as long. But guys, notice the tempo here. I don't want you swinging it. I see a lot of guys do this. So they're swinging it at the bottom and they're just using momentum to bring the weight up. You know, if you're really doing this correctly, it's a nice, steady, controlled motion, and you're gonna feel tension in the biceps throughout the entire range of motion, if you're doing it right. Now, what happens if you don't have a bench? Let me show you. I'm gonna get this out of the way real quick, and I'm gonna show you how to replicate the exact same exercise. But it's really hard to kind of do 2 dumbbells simultaneously, all right, without the bench. So I'm gonna show you how to do one at a time. All we gotta do is spread your legs out, brace your offhand on your knee, and see how when I'm leaning forward, see how my elbow is out in front of my torso, just like it was when I was leaning on the bench. So my upper body is the key here. My upper body is basically in the same sloped forward position that it was a few minutes ago when I was, you know, using the bench to support it. But now I'm just gonna do my one arm curls, and I can do them hammer style, or I can do them with a twist, okay, or I can do them with my palm in a neutral position throughout the full range of motion. You do one arm, gets fatigued really quick, switch it over. All right, same exact thing. Neutral position, hammer curl, and then with a twist. All right. The main thing, guys, is when you're doing that movement, once again, try to keep your elbow basically in one position, and you want your forearm and the dumbbell to rotate around the elbow. All right, so if your elbow's swinging around like this, then you will end up using momentum of the weight to get it up, and you won't put nearly as much tension on your bicep. And that's the whole key, guys. You have to put the tension on your bicep, and you want to have tension on your bicep throughout the full range of motion. So when it's fully contracted, you get a lot of tension. So if I was standing up like this, all right, it's fully contracted, but see how the weight of the dumbbell is going straight down, and a lot of that weight is being held by the joint itself and not entirely by the bicep. So as you lean forward, now the weight's pushing straight down and it's not going through my elbow. The bicep is required to be flexed to maximum to keep the dumbbell from dropping. All right, so the third exercise today, guys, is something called a drag curl, not a drag queen curl. That's completely different. I don't even know how to do those. But drag curls are something I see guys do at the gym, typically with a barbell is how you normally would do it. But most of you guys, including myself, I don't have barbells at home, okay? So we can still replicate the exercise though with just a pair of dumbbells. It's real straightforward. So Simple as this, guys. And this is an exercise where you're going to have to really, really focus on your form, okay? So I like, to hold the dumbbells with your palms facing forward. So this would mimic me holding a barbell all the way across the front of my thighs here, all right? And so all I'm going to do, I'm going to lean forward just the tiniest bit, okay? And I'm going to drag those dumbbells straight up and down, okay? So pretend like there's a bar connecting those two dumbbells, and I'm just dragging that bar straight up and down my thighs and up my abs to my lower chest, okay? And see what's going on with my elbows here? So my elbows, unlike all the other curl exercises, my elbows are intentionally moving, all right? Normally I want you to keep your elbows stationary, okay? But my elbows are going backwards, back behind my back, as I'm pulling the dumbbells straight up and then lowering them back down. So this is kind of an unusual exercise, guys. And if you're standing straight up and down, you can still do it, but I don't think you get the full range of motion. It doesn't feel as good. So you just lean over just a few inches, okay? And then you're gonna have to pretend, okay? It's a mental challenge here with this mind-muscle connection. Drag those dumbbells straight up and down, and you're gonna really feel it here, and you're gonna feel it in a way that's different from all the other bicep exercises, simply because of the position that your elbow's in and how your elbow is changing position throughout the full range of motion, whereas basically every other curl exercise I can think of, your elbow is stationary as you're rotating your forearm around the elbow. Whether your elbow's out in front of you or behind you, your elbow typically is always, static. And this is the exception to that rule. 3 different bicep exercises. You guys probably aren't doing them on a regular basis. And if you're having a hard time growing your muscles, even though you're hitting your arms on a regular basis and you're putting a lot of intensity into them, I urge you guys to try some of these different exercises that Gary and I recommend, okay, on our YouTube channel here, because variety really is the spice of life. Not only will it help your arms grow more, but it just makes your workouts so much more interesting. And so if you're more interested in your workouts, you're more likely to do them, and you're more likely to put more effort and intensity into your workouts. And of course, the more effort, the more reward. So that's the scoop, guys. Your arms will grow, but only if you stick with it and never give up on yourself.